Hello guys, in this video we will go through 4 carbon bikes from Trek, the Madone SL6, Emonda SL6, Domane SL6 and Checkpoint SL6. Since they are all made of carbon and have SL6 in their name, we decided to make this video to remove any confusion you may have deciding which of this is right for you. We'll take you through the frames of these bikes, talk about the geometry differences, go through the components offered, give a brief summary, and in the end also suggest alternatives to each of the 4 bikes here. All the frames here are made using Trek's 500 series OCLV carbon. But while the material is same, there is significant difference in tube shapes. The Madone, which is Trek's Aero bike, features very deep camtail tubes that help you cut through the air at the expense of greater weight due to extra use of material. The Emonda comparatively uses less material but still has to take care of aerodynamics enough to be in line with today's all-round race bikes. The Domane is Trek's endurance frame with great tire clearance for a road bike, and that makes it more than capable of treading light gravel. Even so, it still does give a significant nod to aerodynamics. The Checkpoint is Trek's gravel bike. Being so, it is catered more to those who will actually ride off the beaten path. However, it can also be one of the most capable and comfortable endurance bikes on road if you use narrower road specific tires. Since we are comparing Trek bikes, it's only fair we talk a bit about the ISOSpeed decoupler. The Madone and Checkpoint feature ISOSpeed decouplers at the rear. The Domane features the ISOSpeed decouplers both at the front as well as the rear. The Emonda, to keep its weight down, doesn't feature any ISOSpeed decoupler. Delving into the geometries in size 54, we see that the Madone and Emonda have almost the same metrics, and that's because they share the same H1.5 geometry Trek use in the race bikes. The Domane is really tall at the front even by endurance bike standards, which is evident by its high stack and short reach. The Checkpoint is a bit more aggressive than the Domane, and in our experience it never feels too tall at the front for all but the most spirited road bikers. We now talk about the components of these bikes. All the road bikes, that is the Madone, Emonda and Domane, mainly use a Shimano Ultegra group set. The Checkpoint uses Shimano GRX RX810 group set from Shimano's gravel family. The cranks used in the Madone and Domane are 5034 Shimano Ultegra ones. The Emonda uses a 5236 crank. The Checkpoint has a more gravel friendly 4831 crank. In terms of cassette, the Emonda and Madone share a 11 speed 1130 cassette. The Domane and Checkpoint use a easier 1134 cassette. The standard tire in the Madone is 25C wide, while the Emonda and Domane use 28 and 32C tires respectively. The Checkpoint uses 40C tires, which unlike the road bikes have much more of a threaded non-slick pattern to help it gain traction in the gravel. Tire clearance for the Madone stands at 28 mils, for the Emonda at 30 mils, for the Domane at 38 mils, and for the Checkpoint it stands at 45 mils as expected. All brakes in these bikes are hydraulic disc with 160 mil rotors. The wheels in the Madone are 50 mm deep Bontrager Aeolus ones measuring 18 mm wide internally. The Emonda comes with Bontrager Paradigm disc wheels with 20 mm of internal width. The Domane and Checkpoint both come with Bontrager Paradigm comp wheels which measure really wide 25 mm internally. Coming to the summary, you can see the important component choices, weight as well as the prices for these bikes. Now we'll come to alternatives, but before that I need to mention that a Madone is for the spirited rider who would ride on flat roads 90% of the time. The Emonda is more for the enthusiastic rider who would ride flats and rolling terrain alike. The Domane is for the more endurance type rider who is after big miles in great comfort rather than outright speed, as well as someone who wants the ability to tread light gravel on a road bike. The Checkpoint, being one of the most versatile bikes out there, can hit light to medium gravel as well as be your best companion when backpacking or touring. On to the favorite part of the video, we suggest alternatives to these bikes. Alternatives to the Madone include the Scott Foil, Cannondale System 6, Merida Reacto, Canyon Aero, and Cervelo R5. We think if you are riding on smooth roads, you may shortlist among the Scott Foil, Merida Reacto, and most importantly, the Cervelo R5, which is probably the most aero here. We do think the ISO speed is a bit of an overkill in this segment and makes the bike unnecessarily heavy. The System 6 is too harsh riding, and while the Aero is a great bike, the viability of buying it depends on your region. Alternatives to the Emonda include the Giant TCRs, Scott Addict RC, Cannondale Super 6, and BMC Team Machine. While a comparison of this segment is coming up, we would request you to get the Giant TCR or the Scott Addict RC. The TCR especially is usually cheaper spec for spec than other bikes in its segment while offering better wheels in most cases, so it's a no-brainer, and its new gen also has much improved ride and handling. The Scott Addict RC is also a great option just behind the Giant. Alternatives to the Domane include the Defy, Synapse, Roubaix Road Machine, and Caledonia. I have done a very detailed video of these endurance bikes which I'll link above, and you may watch that video if you are considering the Domane or an endurance bike in general. When it comes to competitors of the Checkpoint, they include the Specialized Diverge, Cannondale Topstone, and Giant Revolt. For most intents and purposes, we believe the Checkpoint is the best bike here and would safely recommend it. By the way, if you want a comparison of the aluminum versions of these bikes, you can click here. I hope you liked this video. Thanks for watching, and do subscribe if you loved it and wanna stay up to date with more videos like this. I'll see you next time.